Hopefully you've had a good workout, so let's cool down. You're going to take one arm up towards your opposite side in. You're going to take the elbow down to the floor, push through the other side hand to get a nice neck stretch here. Just take a few breaths as you go, nice and slow in and out. We're going to turn our head towards our armpit, so just to feel the stretch in a different place in your neck. Rolling the chin along the chest, stop as you can look to the floor and take both hands behind the head. We're now going to come to the opposite side, so start with your head coming towards your armpit. You have your straight arm pushing down towards the floor. Lift the head so you're looking forwards. Keep that push with the other side hand as much as you can. Lovely, lift your head up. Take one arm across your body, keeping it straight. You're going to pull in with the opposite side arm. Just avoid pulling on your elbow, and if you can, look over the shoulder of the straight arm. Let's switch it over. So arm comes across your body, pull in, just avoid pulling on the elbow, try to keep your shoulder down and look across the shoulder of the straight arm. Let's move into a tricep stretch. Take one arm up and over your head and then behind you, trying to reach this hand down your spine. Opposite side hand is going to help you push the elbow so you can try and take the hand further down your head. Now make sure you are lifting your head up. You don't want to be rounding in, so keep that head lifted. Let's switch arms over. So we're coming up, switching the arm over. So we're holding onto one elbow and the other hand is reaching down the spine. Keep that head lifted. And release the hands, find the pole. Take your hands on at about chest height, elbows are coming out towards the side. Take a step back, tuck your head in, chin to chest. Think about your shoulder blades driving apart as far as you can, and you can lean your weight slightly further backwards. So nice stretch through the upper body. Rolling up, take your hands nice and high up the pole. Imagine that you're pulling straight down into the ground with the pole. So not pulling the pole down to the floor, pulling the pole in as much as you can. Good, relax off slightly, take the feet together and feet a little bit closer to the pole, stick your bum out and then pull down again. So we're going straight down, do not pull your pole over. This pole is staying up. Good, pull yourself up, rounding the back. Let's come into a pec stretch. So take your elbow in line with your shoulder. Step forward with the same side leg. We're going to push the shoulder forward and then away from the pole. So we're trying to feel it in here. It's a teeny tiny position that we should feel, but when you feel it, you should hopefully feel it. So if you need to move around a little bit to find your position, then have a little wiggle. One side will feel a bit easier to figure out than the other. And in a moment, we're going to come into a lat stretch on the same side. So when you're ready, take the feet nice and close to the base of the pole, wrap the inside hand. Outside hand is preferably in a cup grip. Lean your hips away from the pole. So you should feel a nice side stretch here. Let's switch sides. So we're starting with our pec stretch. So elbow in line with your shoulder, step forward on the same side leg. Shoulder is going to push forward and then diagonally away from the pole. Hopefully you can feel this one a little bit easier if the last one was a struggle. And we're going to come into our lat stretch. Feet nice and close to the base of the pole. Wrap your inside arm, top hand preferably in a cup grip. Lean your hips away. Lovely, pull yourself in, hands at about chest height again. This time you're going to step your feet quite far back and feet are coming nice and wide. Stick your bum out. If you know that your hamstrings are not going to love it, keep your pelvis tucked and you can bend through the knees as we get into the move. So head and shoulders are going to come through your arms. Press your chest towards the floor as much as you can. So you should feel this in your shoulders, in your mid-back. You might feel a little bit lower back, but tuck your pelvis under if you do, and hopefully hamstrings. Again, if that's too much, bend at the knees. Just to feel a little bit more on one side, if you can, reach one hand down towards the floor, try not to touch the floor. If this is too much, stay with two hands. If you need to, bend your knees, then bend your knees. Let's switch the hand on the pole over. So we push down, free hand is reaching towards the floor. If you can already reach the floor, just keep your hand lifted so you're not going to touch the floor. Just make sure you don't press any weight through your legs with your hand. And rolling up. Take your hands a little bit higher up the pole. Keep your feet together, a little bit further in towards the pole and stick your bum out. And now we're going to turn side to side. So bend one knee, and as you do, you're going to turn your body into the opposite direction. So if I'm bending my left, I'm going to reach my body or turn my body to the right side. So you should feel a nice stretch as you twist. If you feel any positions that you really want to hold and really want to stretch, then hold there and wiggle around as much as you need to or as much as you want to. This one should feel very nice. Last one here. And then we're going to go into a glute stretch. So roll yourself up. Take one leg up and over the other leg in a figure four shape, making sure that this leg is higher than your opposite side knee. Sit your bum down, keep pulling on the pole. Keep your chest lifted, and if you want a little bit more, you're going to push down on the same side knee. Make sure you don't hurt your knee, but you're just increasing the stretch a little bit more. If you need to wrap your arm on the pole to give you a bit more support, you can do. This hand isn't yanking on my knee, it's just gently pressing down. And let's switch it over. Bum back. If you don't want any extra support, you can keep both hands on the pole, but if you want a little bit more, you can press into the same side knee with the same side hand. So a little glute stretch here. And pull yourself up. Let's come into a quad stretch. So one hand onto your ankle or onto your foot. Knees are going to come together. Pull your foot towards your bum and push your hips forward. So feeling down the front of that leg. In a moment, this lifted leg is going to come forward into a calf stretch. So this lifted leg comes forward. Point your toes up towards the ceiling, bring this leg in front of you, hinge forward. So one leg's really, really straight, toes are pointing towards your nose. You should feel this down the back of that straight leg. Make sure you don't press any weight through your straight leg in particular. Hands come to the hips. We're going to stay low, and in a moment, we're going to switch the legs over. So as we stay low, just switch the legs. So whichever heel is down, those toes are pointing up towards your nose. And feel the stretch down the back of the leg. In a moment, we're going to lift up and do quad stretch on the second side. Now this should be your straight leg. When you're ready, pull yourself up. The straight leg comes foot to bum, hips in line, or hips in line, knees in line. Push your hips forward. Lovely, make sure you have some space in front of you. Take a deep breath in, arms are going to come up. Fold forward as the arms come down, breathe out. Legs straight, reach the ground, preferably with legs straight if you can. We're going to walk the arms forward into a plank. From here, step one leg forward to the outside of your front arm. So this is going to be our hip flexor stretch. You want your front knee above your ankle, back leg is as straight as you can get it, and you're pushing your hips towards the floor. Keep your head and chest lifted. You can have a slow rock forwards and backwards in this position if you want to as well. Let's switch it over. So front leg comes back into the plank, other leg comes forward. So again, this is our hip flexor stretch. You want the front knee above the ankle, back leg as straight as you can get it, hips nice and low, and if you want a little rock forwards and backwards, you can have that as well. So in a moment, we're going to come into downward dog. So we will take both feet together and then going to lift the hips up into the air. So when you're ready, feet come together, back to your plank. Lift your bum up in the air. You're going to take your heels to the floor, press your shoulders down to the floor as well. Have a little walk through your legs, lifting one heel up at a time. We can start to do a little twist, so whichever leg is bending, you're going to also turn that armpit in. So if I'm bending my left leg, my left armpit is pushing to the right. And again, wherever it feels good for you to have a little stretch, you can hold here whenever you want to. We're going to come up onto the tiptoes and we're going to bend the knees, straighten the legs and push the heels down one more time. Rock yourself forward, bring your knees down to the floor, and we're going to stretch our wrists out. So your fingers are going to turn away from your knees and then point back towards your knees. Start to sit your hips back. You can tuck your toes under here as well. So just a nice wrist stretch. Just make sure that you're not popping your elbow forward. So you can bend your elbow slightly to increase that stretch. And when you're ready, let's peel the palms off. So palms are going to come off first, leaving the fingertips on the ground. Fingers are going to lift, wiggle through your fingers, roll through your wrists, and give a little shake. Let's do it one more time. So hands to the floor, fingers turn away, palms down onto the floor. Hold here, so just a wrist stretch to start. Palms peel off, leaving the fingertips till last. And then give the fingers a wiggle. Roll. Little shake. We're going to stand up, straightening the legs. So hands come down to the floor, straighten the legs, but keep your head nice and low. And we're just going to hang here, looking at the knees. Bend one knee and hold. So this should increase the stretch down the back of the straight leg. Switch it over so the other leg is bent, and we're going to hold. So we have one leg bent, one leg straight. If you can't reach the floor here, just reach as low as you possibly can. Obviously, if you can reach the floor, that's what we want to do. Okay, bend through the knees, lift up slightly and take your feet wide. This shouldn't be a stretch, this should just be comfortable. You're going to hold opposite elbow with opposite hand, and we're just going to have a little swing from side to side. Relax the head. Think about cleaning the floor with your hair. Okay, we just stay here for a couple more swings, and in a moment we're going to bring the legs back together and we're going to roll up. So when you're ready, slow yourself down, hands come to the floor, wiggle your legs in together. Bend through the knees, rolling up nice and slowly with your head coming up last. Roll your shoulders back, lift your head, and we're going to take 3 squats, and we're going to breathe in. So when you're ready, 3 squats, arms are going to come up, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, roll through the wrists. One more time, in. This time, roll through the other way wrists, if you can remember which way you rolled before. And then last one without the wrists, deep breath in. Out. And give it all a gentle shake. Yay, cool down, done.